Regarded as a disadvantage or fault, wickedness means the quality of being evil or morally wrong. This also makes sense with the front and back cover. Regarded as a disadvantage or fault, represents wickedness means Kendrick is in a submissive evil position. Or this sounds wrong. I mean, look at him. We barely see his face, like he's almost bowing or something. But the back cover is more about wickedness, because Kendrick is surrounded by darkness and opposed to light, right? In Christianity, light represents the good and darkness is evil. He seems also pretty much ready to beat up someone with that face. So this cover, weakness, and this cover, wickedness. And on Blood, Kendrick presents these themes as kind of a choice to make. Are we weak or are we evil? And this choice will result in an outcome. You decide, are we gonna live or die? So we already know what's related to these themes. If you choose either one of them, you're gonna either live or die. There is clearly some sort of secret meaning or mystery behind this song, and Kendrick even confirmed it.
Starting with Blood.
Blood. It is one of the most interesting pieces on the record.
Is it the beginning of the end or the end of the beginning?
I can't tell you that. That's the whole thing.
Come on.
I got.
DNA is the second song on Damn, and it acts as a proper introduction to the character of Kendrick on this album. So, to put him in context, he's a well-established rapper on the top of his game, winning awards after another. It's almost too perfect. And it's no surprise, right? Because he had just released To Pimp a Butterfly, which is already considered one of the best albums of all time. But on this song, he's almost too perfect. He's so fucking confident on here. And this makes you question the timeline of events here. Why is Kendrick being killed on the first track, right? Considering Kendrick is talking about himself in the past, when he says, I was taking a walk the other day, it could be like Kendrick is telling a story he made up because he didn't die for real. Or maybe a theory that's a little more out there could be that it's a life flashback. He sees his life pass in front of his eyes before he dies, right? Maybe, but it's way too early to tell.
I got loyalty inside my DNA.
In the first verse, Kendrick tells us 23 things that are in his DNA, the same number as the number of chromosome pairs in the human DNA. There's quite some negative stuff here. Poison, pain, kill shit, and evil. But Kendrick still has some good in him. He's loyal, he's joyous, he's also peaceful. So yeah, a lot of things in his DNA. But let's take a step back and look at these songs as a whole rather than focus on specific lines, because it's really easy to get lost when you're analyzing a Kendrick Lamar record. You can draw meaning from every fucking word in the song, which I'm trying not to do too much. Remember the most important line in this album. Is it wickedness? Is it weakness? What if we took both of these themes and applied them to the songs directly? In other words, if you had to choose, would a song like DNA be more associated with weakness or wickedness?
Hujan, tenggorokan gak nyaman? Bantu legakan dengan Strepsils, hanya dalam 60 detik. Hujan, tenggorokan gak nyaman? Bantu legakan dengan Strepsils, hanya dalam 60 detik.
Hi guys, so if you are from Indonesia and if you want to work remote,
Wickedness, right? You can just look at the list of things Kendrick has in his DNA. Most of them could be associated with wickedness in general. Evil, war, kill shit, money, murder. I think these are good examples of wicked things. Or just how Kendrick raps on this song. He seems angry, on edge, like he's ready to throw a punch at anybody. So DNA has got to be about wickedness. But that's where it gets interesting. What do you think Blood is about? Well, weakness, obviously. He fucking dies on the song. And if you had to guess, which one of those two would be the next song about? Ya is the third track on Damn, and right off the bat, you'll notice this song is way less energetic than DNA.
I'm diagnosed with real nigga conditions.
You'll see this song is way more pessimistic and vulnerable, so it seems that every song on Damn alternates between wickedness and weakness. And keep in mind, you decide, are we gonna live or die? There's clearly something here.
This song is basically a moment where Kendrick is reflecting on his massive fame. Even though he's one of the best rappers worldwide, he's worried he's gonna burn out.
My mama told me that I'ma work myself to death.
He's tired of interviews and news talking about him. In the hook, Kendrick says,
Buzzing, radars is buzzing.
Kendrick's radars are buzzing, meaning he's starting to be aware of that and to realize what negative effects this has on him. If we look at the title, you'd think Ya is just an abbreviation of the expression yeah. And that's what I thought until I searched it up. Ya is actually referring to Yahweh, the closest estimation to God's actual name in Hebrew.
Which, you know, is kind of fitting because there's so many religious themes in this album.
I'm not about a religion. I'm an Israelite. Don't call me black no more.
Wait, what? Did he just say he wasn't religious in an album that's literally packed with religious themes? This is actually where we learn a crucial
Polusi udara bikin wajahmu kusam dan berminyak. Baru Nivea Men Vitamin.
Self-Control is probably one of the most raw songs in our album.
featuring just Frank's voice, some harmonies, and electric guitar in the background. It's a bittersweet ballad where Frank describes a relationship that's slowly falling apart. He expresses how he knows the inevitable will happen sooner than later because they aren't on the same wavelength. Frank uses pitched up vocals again on his track, signaling that he's reminiscing about his younger years. In the intro of the song, Frank sets the stage for the story, describing how the relationship wasn't made to last from the beginning. He sounds like he's talking about someone who could be only in his town for a couple of days, asking them, "So, how was your summer?"
Poolside convo about your summer last night. Ooh, yeah, about your summer last night.
He realizes that even though they might have mutual feelings for each other, they won't have any time to build something more meaningful, which is why Frank desperately pleads when he asks,
"Could we make it in? Do we have time?"
After the intro of the song, Frank describes the immaturity he realizes in the other person, but still deciding to be a part of their life, even though it's not in the way that he desires.
I'll be the boyfriend in your wet dreams tonight.
With this line, Frank is saying he's ready and capable to be a boyfriend because he's mature and he's experienced. But contrast to him, the other person is only experienced enough to know what a wet dream feels like. So he settles for that. This line sets up the theme for the rest of the song.
Wish I was there. Wish we'd grown up on the same advice.
He describes his disappointment that they didn't grow up on similar ideologies and how the relationship didn't work because of their different backgrounds, their experiences, and how it ultimately shaped them. Despite this, Frank realizes they will move on and asks the lover to simply remember him in the times they had as brief lovers. This is what makes the song so bittersweet, because Frank is saying, "I know we can't be together, but I just want you to at least remember what we had," even saying that he'll sleep between them and their new partner out of desperation.
I'll sleep between you. It's nothing.
Frank contrasts this plea for some sort of romantic connection with a nonchalant attitude, repeatedly saying, "It's nothing, it's nothing." I'm not sure if he's saying this to his lover or to himself, but regardless, he acknowledges the relationship is going nowhere, but still wants to be in their heart. The song is very reminiscent of the Prince song, "When You Were Mine." It's no secret that Prince is a big inspiration for Frank, and he actually covered "When You Were Mine" on tour a couple times. The pinnacle of the ballad is when Frank Ocean sings, "And you made me lose my self-control," realizing that they can't be together and seeing his ex-lover will not be good for them long term, so it's better if they just stop. But acting on his intense feelings for this person is so tempting, and he loses his self-control to see them once more.
And you made me lose my self-control, my self-control.
The outro wraps up the song so beautifully eloquent and perfectly. The once minimal production has evolved into multiple pulsating layers of vocals alongside these winding, drawn-out synths echoing through space while the guitar continues to strum along to this now chaotic atmosphere that is self-control. Amongst this, Frank pleads to see his lover once more, even with the reality in mind that they have moved on from him. He pleads over and over again until the sounds of the track inevitably fade away, symbolizing the acceptance that all things, good or bad, must eventually pass.
I feel like his album was about giving someone your all until you can't give it anymore. Like, it's like really loving somebody unconditionally, or not even to do or loving anything so much to the point where it's like self-sabotage, like it's hurting. Like hugging somebody with